All right, welcome everyone with Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Vinland Saga, Season 2, Episode 6. We got some Canute.
Canute, last episode was fantastic. Getting to see him also reach the point where I kind of have been waiting for him to get to in the history side of things with being the King of England, potentially setting up some really interesting... there can only be one situation with as far as kings go.
There can only be one, and now that he's officially a king, we have seen and we got reminded of his ambitions before, right? So now that you're king, what will you do? Yeah. You know, because you've got a lot of power.
You do. And we also had a little bit of a time skip. Now, we don't know if that was to catch up Canute to where everybody else is at right now, or if that's where Canute was, where, Thorfinn and everybody else is right now. So then we're time skipping ahead more. And then when we go back to Thorfinn and Einar, they'll be even older. So
my money's on another time skip because
it makes sense. Yeah.
Einar and Thorfinn just made a lot of progress. So.
Yeah. So, all right, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. We need a horse. Dude, where's
Horses
my horse?
Are good. Damn it, why'd you have to do that?
Yeah, it's you. Okay, I think we time skipped.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, their faces are so contorted right now, I can't tell.
The whole forest is like, they're at it again.
Yeah.
All right. And back at it
like
again.
the people that hammer the mochi.
We need a horse. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That or some of Ragnar's, or not Ragnar, Bjorn's mushrooms.
Yeah.
Could maybe try and make an argument to the master of how it would be worth the investment. They look very busy. That just, I'm not even making eye contact.
Yes, this is the classic, lower class people on the farm being like, well, at least we're not like you slaves, yeah.
Yeah.
Now you all bringing up class again.
Right. That's what it's all about, if only people would listen. I never thought I would see that walk in Vinland Saga.
Yeah, I know.
Except for maybe from, like, Thorkel.
I think Thorkel literally did it in season 1.
Oh, yeah, he probably did.
What?
Yeah. You're a badass.
You!
I am loving this dynamic.
Oh my god.
Oh. If not for the fact that he was groaning, I would say those sounded pretty satisfying.
Are we getting an image of a slave working their farm right now? In their old age? Oh!
So he borrows a horse and then lends it to them? Or
and then they probably help him work his patch of land in exchange.
Right.
Sverkel. Yeah, Sverkel sucks.
He's actually totally bullshitting them about the horse. He's... Thanks for the help, boys.
How are you gonna lift this bag once we get all the rocks in? Oh, okay, in batches.
Yeah.
And they did it, yeah.
About this... Wow. I hope this guy's nice, though. He seems like he will be, But...
Oh, I don't know.
He's actually trying to teach them an important lesson.
Maybe.
And he's just like, why haven't you figured it out yet? No, I'm totally just using you.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, at this point, it's not lending, it's a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Seems fair. As long as it's not taking the whole day to do it.
Mm-hmm. Shit, let's
All
go!
right. Awesome. Yeah, Einar, you're strong, but not as strong as a horse.
Now he's ferociously doing the chores over here.
Yeah, all that energy was with all the crazy work they were doing before.
Right.
Now the horse is doing the work. He's like, this is great. Wait, you don't know? Oh.
Yeah. Chotto mate.
Oh, he's able to talk about his family.
Yeah, and he noticed that. Yeah. Wow, he's in a really good mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit. It's not even their horse.
Right.
Oh shit. Like the grandpa of
Yeah.
like the father of.
Oh,
And he's out
shit.
working the land
Yeah.
by himself?
Damn.
No help from family? Oh, cool.
That grandpa's a badass.
Well, it's also kind of just depressing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
what is he doing, like, alone? Like, he's so old, you know? Yeah. One day. Yeah, they're machines, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Because they're probably just constantly going, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, he doesn't.
Yes, good. They're bringing this up. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Well, Snake's obviously just a good guy. Yeah. Oh, Snake was sleeping at his place, I think, maybe. Back then.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, that's why he's on his own.
Gotcha. Oh, cool. And if he sees that they're needing to borrow stuff from him, then it's the, wait, why aren't you just getting them from my retainers? Well...
Oh!
They could end up staying with them and, like...
Whoa, the weapons.
Yeah.
Oh. A
Snake? No. Snake. Solid snake.
Yeah.
Wait, I sense a badass nearby. Wait.
Smelly slave. Oh! We have each other. We're not that lonely.
Hey. Packing in all this knowledge is exhausting.
Yeah.
Oh my god, getting an actual, like, proper meal.
All the time. Whoa.
Okay, so then that makes sense why they need to employ so many guards. We then turn the thieves into slaves and sell them.
Yeah, the weapons, yeah.
You bet your ass, whippersnapper.
I love just how salty this old guy is.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he does actually care about you. It's like a little family that they're getting.
Mm-hmm. Only 13.
Oh yeah, that's not actually that much. And if the farm's that big, it would actually be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first time for everything.
Mm.
Oh.
Wow. Greed. Okay.
Yeah. When other people want your shit.
Wow.
Okay. It feels like they're really setting up the farm to fall apart. Patrolling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wasn't planning to, Gramps. I'm sleeping somewhere else tonight.
Yeah. I've got 2 dumbasses over here to replace your ass.
But you need 2 of them to even compete with me.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm just imagining Askeladd's group just being like in the similar situation from season 1. It's just this place has all the food we could ever need.
Yep. Hey, nice beards.
Yeah.
Is it fall already with the trees behind them? I think so.
Getting a good old montage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of scars.
Because you're my entire world, bro. Bro. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. That was a sweet episode.
That was a very sweet episode.
All right.
Okay.
Well, they got a horse.
Yep.
But not only that,
They got a plow.
They got a plow, and they have an old Gramps friend of sorts.
Yep.
Kinda. Not exactly. There's sort of a hierarchical difference here in terms of their roles on the farm.
And yet, they're not even technically his slaves. So like he's just like, "Hey, you're helping me out. I help you out."
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. There's a very interesting kind of through line that this show seems to be going for with the idea of separating the retainers from the slaves. The idea that what the retainers are is more just slaves with a little bit of extra, ability.
It's people that are actually choosing to be here.
Yes.
Right. They now choice
kind of
when,
because of their ownership of stuff here. They
right
have
exactly.
an investment.
If your roots are set down deep enough and the wellspring of things that you're getting as a reward from doing the things that you do is good enough, then you could theoretically say that you're kind of trapped in this place because I mean, are your options in other places really any can you expect them to be better? And so there you are. But
I just found that really interesting because in a few episodes ago I realized that they were potentially setting up the path to retainership being from people starting as slaves. And then once they get their plot of land ready, then they buy back their freedom with the results of tilling the land, which means then that effectively what they've done is now used slaves to then build out the land for Kettle so that then he gets more wealth and power and influence by having this great farm and stuff, and they will effectively continue to be slaves to him. But in name, hold on. In name, they'll then adjust to retainers, and they'll bring in more slaves to perpetuate the process, and then those retainers will then manage, in some ways, the slaves for them, and create this nice, continually widening out and growing pyramid of hierarchical society.
Kettle's gone corporate. Right.
Yes, exactly. This is a form of exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is, like the whether or not it's a they're essentially still slaves thing, I think is more a matter of perspective and the perspective both from the standpoint of the audience, but then also the perspective of the people that are in the system, right? If you're in a system like that and you think that it's just fine, you're like, yep, this is good, I like it, then it's it's not slavery, right? If it's technically not, and you don't see it as such, then it isn't. Right?
I know, but that distinction is very important, because the perspective, you can change your reality by your perspective with regards to you, but there's still objective reality.
No, totally.
And the thing that I'm trying to bring up is that with regards to them being retainers, there is nothing about them that has elevated them beyond serfs, effectively. They are all in servitude still to their lord and noble. And this timeline, this time in history led to this kind of livelihood here for people, where it's the you're slaves with stuff that you own. You have a couple things that you own,
Right.
But in terms of like, if the Kettle came in and was like, give me all your stuff for the tribute, you have to give a cut for the tribute that's going bi-yearly.
Wait, what?
Kettle gives bi-yearly tribute to Harold.
Right.
Where does that come from?
Well, okay,
That's my point, isn't it?
Okay. I feel like you might be trying to look for ways in which this can go badly, because there are definitely ways that it could go badly. Like, even if it's not from Kettle, if he passes it on to his son and his son ends up being a huge dick, and then he essentially...
No, I'm just looking at things as they are right now.
Well, okay, but with the things as they are right now, to look at the concrete stuff like you were talking about,
yes,
they are going from people who have nothing, right? And you could say that there's the morality of the slave thing or whatever, but that's a fairly regular thing for the time.
Yeah.
They essentially got lucky with who bought them.
Yeah.
And then Kettle is making it so that he is turning them into skilled laborers, right?
Sure.
Right. And then essentially giving them a lease of land and farm and all that stuff. And then, they probably have some, he gets some cut of it, right? And then he makes his money off of that.
Yeah.
And then he's able to make workers that are then also fairly loyal to him, because he treats them well and he gives them this stuff. And then he gets a bunch of money.
He treats them well, whereas the retainers literally are going to make them not do this without a horse.
No, totally.
Despite the fact they got super lucky, and there's no realistic reason as to why they got lucky. This was the convenience of the story bringing them into the situation where they would have done it as effectively slaves in an impossible way.
You've got some corrupt middle management in this corporation,
and
right?
Kettle doesn't care about that.
Well, no, I think you're totally wrong there. Like objectively.
Okay.
It's not that he doesn't care about it, it's that he is not aware of it.
Yeah,
right?
that's
No, but those are fundamentally two different things. And the reason why they're not bringing it up to him is not because they don't think that he would care about it, it's that would cause more issues with, like, even if he comes in and he's like, no, just fucking get along, right? Mm-hmm. They then just try and think of different ways to fuck them over.
Right. And I think that's why they brought in Sverkel into the story, is that he's the point of reference to show that Kettle is running this farm badly. He is running this farm in a way that is going to go badly. That is a big point of the way that he was brought into the story.
Okay,
to argue with Snake about the ways in which it's not about necessarily that specifically 50 to 60 people will come and try to take over the farm.
No, right.
But he's saying that this is a bad system. It will end up going badly by the way that Kettle is running it.
So, okay, it being able to go badly does not mean the system is bad, though, right? Like, so if there's,
you mean like it's not effective, or
no, yeah, because saying that it's bad is more like that's
a blanket statement,
right, exactly. It's an totally evaluation of the whole, right, as opposed to like. Yeah.
My word, what I would use is unsustainable. It will eventually get too large to manage properly, or it will attract the wrong kind of people too much.
Right. Exactly. And that's like, and that I think is something that's not because of how Kettle runs it, but it's a fundamental aspect of, if you get too big, then you start to become a target, right?
Yeah.
Like Canute is dealing with that with his whole kingship ascension.
I'm with you, but the fact that Kettle doesn't know about his retainers running a sort of mafia ring with regards to how the resources are allocated is an example of poor leadership. That is an example of him running it poorly. No, that absolutely is. If he had an actual good handle on the retainers being in a form of not a relationship, but they actually had some kind of less hierarchical relationship with him, where he actually had hey, guys, this is our, resources that we're using for plows or farming or stuff like that. The goal of the slaves is to make them be set up in such a way that they'll end up being like you. So why are you bullying them where we're all going to benefit from the farm growing larger?
Right. But
that shows that he's not managing the retainers well.
But again, this is definitely getting into semantics here.
Okay.
But I think it is an important distinction to make. Could Kettle be doing better?
Yes.
Absolutely. Right. But, any of these characters, any theoretical character that you put into a story in any kind of situation could be theoretically doing things better.
Yeah, okay.
Canute could be doing things better, right?
No, but
there's not really necessarily any point in saying that things could be being done better. To say that you don't think that Kettle is doing a reasonably good job for the situation that he's in and all of that stuff, I feel like that would say that he's not doing that, I feel like would be a bit.
But I feel like you're not saying anything by just saying, "Oh, well, anybody could be doing better." My point I'm bringing up is that the story is focusing right now on Kettle running the place poorly. We literally have a character brought in whose point was to say, "Hey, son, you're a dumbass. You're doing something wrong here." We didn't get into the exact details as to what Sverkel had as an issue, but he did talk to Snake and by extension the two boys about what he saw as the problem. Accumulating too much wealth. One, we know for a fact that there is a thematic tie to the idea of something like you were saying, the crown's weight being a heavy thing.
Right, yeah.
And in some ways, yes, Kettle is a cool representation in the story to focus on what a small king would look like.
Right.
This is kind
of he's very much approaching the merchant nobility. Either in thematically or potentially literally.
Right. And he brought up the idea of outside incursion of some kind.
Yeah.
But there's other ways this could go badly as well. Obviously, there's things that are not direct foreshadowing, but there's like thematic foreshadowing where we can see by the way that this episode was structured that the entire back half of the episode was set up to have this scene where they're sitting there having dinner. That was in some ways the culmination, the crescendo of the buildup of Sverkel being brought into the story for this episode. So everything in the context of that scene is extremely important for the broader structure of this arc.
Absolutely.
And the contents of that conversation was about how the farm was being run in a way that he did not agree with. Regardless of whether it's being run poorly or badly or inefficiently or what have you, he does not think that they're headed in a good direction.
Right. And I think that is something that makes absolute sense from the meta-narrative of what's happening, because it's kind of the creator telling us, the audience, this is not something that's going to last.
Yeah, right? Of course. Yeah, and they eventually have to leave the farm for whatever reason.
And whether it's because of Kettle's potentially poor judgment with how he's running things, or just no shit happens, right? And
Snake won't be ready for
Snake won't be ready. There's going to be 50 or 60 people that come through, and it's just fuck, right?
Yeah, but that's just one scenario by it. This whole idea of, we don't need you guys here. I think that's an interesting point. Sverkel said, we don't need you guys here. Snake. He was talking to Snake, and he's like, we could just protect ourselves, or we would.
Which obviously is silly.
Well, no, I think that's an interesting point that he brought up. The idea that he's like, curmudgeon-y old man, but the amount that we pay you could be basically, more than the actual amount that we would theoretically lose to these thieves that come about and stuff. I think that's a not entirely stupid thing to bring up.
No, yeah, it is a perspective that definitely has a point to it. And yet at the same time, that could totally just be the perspective of the curmudgeon-y old man who didn't do things this way when he was running things, and so he's resistant to change or whatever.
I think Sverkel was brought into this story to show what a better master would look like. I think he was brought into the story to specifically show that he saw people in his sphere getting into a situation where they were stuck and they couldn't do anything. And then he's like, okay, I'll work out a deal with you.
Yeah.
I'll effectively arm you. I wanted to bring up something else here that I feel like was being lightly hinted at, is the idea that after they earned basically the horse, he then gave it to them. Yeah. But he didn't just give them the horse. He eventually was like, well, if you get a horse, eventually you'll need a plow.
Right.
That feels like a thing that is... That feels like a thing that makes sense to have. It feels very important, But in terms of the people that we saw using plows and stuff, those were retainers.
Yeah.
So
right. So and this is where I feel like we're mostly on the same page with this kind of stuff.
Right.
Is that we saw how Sverkel probably did run things and how he would run things if he were still the one in charge, right?
Yeah.
We also saw that like he was super disconnected from reality and no, I'm still fine. No, Gramps, you're sick, you're infirm. Like, please let us take care of you.
Yes.
No, I'm fine. I could fight the bandits if they came by.
He's definitely proud and stubborn and a bit like clod-headed,
Exactly.
Like it's the whole, there's a rock in his brain. It's definitely strong. Like his mind is sharp, but he's definitely a bit,
He's behind for the times, right? And
I mean, yeah.
But there's a lot of benefits that can come from that, right? The way that he was able to quickly, effectively integrate Thorfinn and Einar into his situation that he had there.
Yeah.
Like that was effective. That was solid. Like he didn't have to deal with bullshit retainers or whatever because he's dealing with a small, little farm that he's got.
Right. So I want to bring up a few things. The thing that I feel like they're hinting at here that's really cool is that Kettle has his own way of running things.
Right.
But one of the things that they are definitely not doing by the nature of having Snake and his mercenary group here or whatever is that they do not want to arm the slaves and have them be their own protective force.
Right.
And there's a specific reason for that. And I think that's something that I would like to go into here.
I think I'll have a different interpretation of why they would do it. But I'm curious to hear what you're going to say. Yeah.
But the farm is big enough. The farm is big enough that 13 or so people can't protect it. Meaning there's way more than 13 slaves, basically.
Oh yeah,
there.
absolutely.
And then way more than that in terms of retainers.
Right. It is to the point where it's not just justifiable to have 13, well-trained dudes to protect the place, but in fact, you could do with more.
You could do with more, but they're not.
Right.
Right.
Because things are easygoing. We pay a bunch of tribute to Harold.
Exactly. Which means then that at some point, Kettle made the distinction that I need these 13, but I still need to give tribute to Harold. So one of those is not as effective as it's set up to be.
Well, I would think
they set up that the 13 are where that's at, basically.
So alternative perspective.
Okay.
Like all of the stuff that you're saying, I think is true from a certain point of view, right? But then there's another way in which, with a different perspective, maybe, Kettle's onto something.
Okay.
I'm going to outsource the big scale protection. I don't want to have a personal army. There is that like much rarer likelihood, but more, oh God, that would be awful, risk of what if we were like attacked en masse. And maybe he doesn't have a proper understanding of how big of a threat that is because he doesn't talk to Snake enough or something, right? Okay, I'll pay tribute to Harold because he's got the army and the armies will be kept away from here. And then that way we'll only have to deal with thieves. And things are pretty comfortable and easy right now. So yeah, I've been getting by with just 13 people so far. Yeah. They're able to chase off the thieves. And maybe because of he hasn't been able to, he hasn't been really thinking about at the rate that the farm is growing, maybe I should add a few more to the 13. Right.
So my thought is that if you have the tribute, and you have the mercenaries doing their part, getting rid of thieves, right?
Right.
Tribute is there to keep roving bands, groups away.
The Askeladd equivalents.
Because they're in a situation where Harold's influence is very much present and near and close. So wherever they are in Denmark or what have you, it's good. That tribute is worth it.
Right.
Yeah, you could go for the argument that we don't know we can't measure how worth it is.
It's insurance,
Sverkel,
right?
And Sverkel called it stupid. He basically was like, buying protection with money is a dumb idea. But let's go for the other angle that they've gone corporate. Where does most theft come from in a corporate environment?
From within. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. It's the retainers that aren't actually doing their work because they're able to basically be sucky middle management and oust their stuff onto these slaves who are fundamentally motivated to need to make this work so that they can get their freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
So to bring this back to the unsustainability aspect, I believe that the secondary function of the mercenaries is to prevent an uprising, to prevent an issue where he has to worry about the fact that he has maybe 50 or 60 retainers and slaves that don't like the hierarchy.
So I think
just enforce the, hey, Kettle's in charge. Right. Obviously, they're not gonna, there's no way they would actually cause an uprising. But in the back of their minds, there's that little bit of like, hey, we're trying to sneak our way to get that little bit of power, anything we can over the sun.
Yeah.
Trying to,
So the way I see that absolutely being a thing, but I see it not being where it's that specifically, where that is one item on a list of like miscellaneous catch-all. Okay, all the stuff that is not the army takes care of because they are far away. Yes, we'll have both so that way it's basically kept consistent. Would it be something where maybe we're paying the same amount that we would get stolen from us if we didn't have them here? Maybe. But because we have them here, it's kept to like an even number so that way, we stay in the black, right? It's a known loss rather than an unknown.
I'm with you, but the reason why I think that that's actually higher on the list to docket, because I do think that it is a list, like you're saying, is because they haven't armed any of the slaves. This is a specific mercenary band.
The reason why I don't think they would arm the slaves, and I think that would be a bad idea, and it is a good idea from Kettle's perspective, is that you don't want to divide the focus of your labor, right? If, Like
what are the mercenaries but labor that's being paid for?
No, but they're specialized, right? But they're not trying to work the farms, right?
But Thorfinn you could have specialized slaves specifically that are there for that purpose, and they would have more ownership of the spots there, especially the retainers actually, because they own part of this. They have an investment in this.
But like that would mean you'd need to train the slaves, you need to do all this stuff, right? Like all of these things that would be that I could see being incredibly expensive, whereas it's you have the people that are and maybe they charge a lot, right? But it's when your income sheet gets real big, then making sure that you're maintaining that with some fairly big expenses, that just starts happening.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up that the way this society and system has been set up is scaffolded by money.
Yes,
and it is something that Sverkel has brought up that is not as effective as you'd think it is. It's the kind of thing where if you're just accumulating it for the sake of accumulating it.
Right, what's it going towards? Yeah.
Well, not what's it's going towards. What happens when things just go slightly off?
Sure.
And I believe Kettle has a very fragile crown right now. And that is something that the story is trying to bring up, that all it would take is, a bad crop year. They can't pay the tribute because they've been consistent like this. They either have some people that are like, no, I'm not going to contribute to the tribute, or, we don't have enough money then because we have to pay the tribute when it's a bad year, that the mercenaries feel a little bit unrest. Like, he's running a ship.
Right. There's lots of things that could go wrong, but what I'm wondering, my thoughts on this basically is how much of that is because of the way that Kettle's doing things versus just we're in happy peacetime, right? These people don't know about the Askelads because they haven't had to deal with them, right? They send money to King Harold and he takes care of it, right? Do I think it is potentially like more likely than the characters probably think it's likely that shit could go real bad here eventually? Absolutely. Do I think it would probably be a good idea for Thorfinn and Einar specifically to be armed, among the slaves? Hell yes, right? But it's peacetime. These people don't, you can make money in peace and you can make money in war, but these people don't have any experience making money in war, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Snake also got upgraded in our eyes. He had a really good time with Sverkel, and despite them basically arguing, we did see a father-son relationship in Vinland Saga, a show about fathers and sons. So that was really special.
Yep.
And also by the fact that we've now drawn the connection between Kettle and Sverkel is fun. And given that we did see a slight teaser at the end of the episode after the ED of someone that looked like to be the older son of Kettle.
And Kettle was behind them, and it didn't seem like they were angry at each other. So
no. That's exactly the thing, is that we're going to see another father-son connection here, but we're going to see also another brother connection.
Yeah.
Because Omar, mentioned his older brother. So seeing potentially a reason as to why he, wants to be a warrior so much could be personified by this.
Another brother connection, which is great for Einar and Thorfinn, because that's what they're getting. In addition to the fact that we very much got pointed at the found family that isn't blood, kind of a thing with Sverkel and Snake this episode.
Yeah.
Get another father-son dynamic. We can get another perspective on the world of violence. And also this specific world, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Where maybe the stuff that Snake's talking about, then this guy comes in and he's like, yeah, no, Dad, you gotta fix this. I know it's been good so far, but it's not as peaceful as you think, right? There's this guy Canute that just named himself King of England. There's a war coming. You gotta figure this shit out, because this will only last for so long. Right.
Yeah.
And there's not really anything you can do about it. It's just about figuring out how to respond to
Civil
it.
War is coming between Harold and Canute, and you might have to then pick the winning side,
Right.
And
you're getting wealthy enough that you are individually paying tribute, so you're kind of a noticeable deal at the very least, right?
Yeah. But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about the show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yeah. You do a bunch of awesome Persona 5 streams.
Oh, yeah. Persona 5 Royal streams are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So, check that out if you're interested. And, if any of the rest of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.